There's no time to order anything and get it here without paying crazy money for shipping. So this project is something you can do today by popping over to your local Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, wherever you want to get your holiday decor. Let me show you how to make this wreath. Everything in this project is from Hobby Lobby, including this 30-inch wreath. If I were you, I would go a little smaller, but the angel that I wanted was just something that required a big wreath. I also got one roll of mesh and cut it in about 18 to 20 inch strips. Before you even start the project, it's absolutely critical that you fluff your wreath. They're shipped flat so they can get more in every container, but if you fluff it, it's going to make your wreath look 10 times better and more professional. Now with our 18 to 20 inch strips of deco mesh, or whatever you like to call it, I like to make them into kind of two loops on the same roll, the 18 inch strip. And what's going to do is going to give you a little bit extra volume. See how much more that looks like if you just left it one big loop? This is going to be great because look, we're going to cinch them like this, and look how much it spreads out. It's going to cover a lot of space without adding a ton of weight to your project, but still look beautiful and add texture. Now I'm going to start on an inner ring. This particular wreath has 2 layers. You can check yours by flipping it over and you'll see where the structure is connected. So we got an inner ring that's smaller and an outer ring that's obviously a little bit wider. Keep that in mind. As we add this mesh, we want to work in quadrants. I like to think of it like a compass, north, south, east, west. And what's going to happen here is once you add to one section, whatever you do on one side, you want to add to the opposite side. So we have an inside addition here on the bottom, we'll say south. So now we need to add that in the other 4 areas to complete that inner ring. All right, the first 8 are in. Can you see the loose pattern? 1, 2, 3, 4 on the inside, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the outer ring. Now, we have quite a bit left, so we're going to go ahead and get them filled in. We're going to keep working around the wreath until we're out of the mesh, just making sure to work as close to proportionately as possible. Then our focal piece comes in. This is actually a tree topper angel that I used as my focal piece using some gold floral wire. I put it around her waist so it blends in with her dress, and then we're going to attach it to the wreath. Now here's what it looks like from behind, or also what is going against the back of the door essentially. So we have the wire going up her waist and attaching to the top of the wreath frame. Now when we turn it around, I have actually, I don't know if you could tell, but I scooted her ever so slightly off center so we can add some beautiful poinsettia flowers in to help kind of add for like a more dramatic look. Doesn't that look so nice? If you want to leave yours centered, that's perfectly fine. I just wanted an excuse to add some pretty flowers. I made a bow. I thought the bow was going to work. The bow did not work, but that's okay. We can still have plenty of ribbon with 10-yard rolls, where you can see here on the right, we added a little bit there, and we're going to keep adding throughout. But if you were going to add a bow, now's the time. To help fill in some of the gaps, I added 3 lightweight sparkly glitter ornaments. I got these in a set of 8, I believe, and we'll be adding more later, but these are just going to help fill in some of the gaps, some of the negative space, so we can build around them. Using your wire cutters, not your scissors, you're going to take your bigger branches, sprays, and stems and cut them down into these smaller pick size elements. This is going to make it way easier for you to cover more space without having the bulk of the bigger branches, and it's more cost effective. Now because this is a 2-tier wreath, I recommend making sure you rotate between the further back portion and more forward facing, or in more of the forefront, so you get a little bit more depth and dimension. There's also added in here the ice ball picks. I don't know if you can tell, they just helped add a little bit extra texture and dimension, and in this instance filled in some of the gap in the back. I couldn't decide between champagne and gold sprays that I got, but these picks are so pretty and so affordable, I knew I needed to add them. Don't be afraid to step back and play with different looks and see which thing is going to work best for you, whatever that may be. I ultimately ended up with gold for a little bit more contrast. Now that we have a lot of sprays and stems in, but not quite all of them, I went ahead and added a little bit more ribbon here and there, just on the sides and the top, just a little bit here and there to help fill in some of the gap without having the weight of extra sprays, picks, and stems. Not that they're so heavy, but ribbon adds a next little touch of texture without being a floral. I have an assortment of berries. When you get them, they're going to look flat like this. You need to open them up and fluff them, because look how much better they look fluffed up with texture, and it's going to be giving you more bang for your buck. Now I have these big pink ice picks. There's 5 of those, and they are the largest berries, so those got added first. Then I went in with the crystally sparkly ones, and if you could tell, mixed in with the ivory kind of pearl and champagne ones that are smaller, essentially berry picks. We went ahead, layered those in, and generally put about 5 of each in, but if you need more, add more. I added a handful more of those large glitter ornaments. They help add in some texture without being super heavy, and they're gonna look amazing in the sunlight. Let me show you. Even in a little bit of a cloudy day with a little bit of overcast, this still looks absolutely beautiful. I hope this inspires you. Maybe you'll make something just like this. Maybe you'll put your own twist on it or use classic holiday colors. Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll turn out great. And if I can be of any assistance, don't hesitate to leave a comment or DM me on Instagram. All right, friends. Well, happy decorating. I'm Alessandra. Thanks for decorating with me today here on A Sparkly Life for Me.